let's get to the box plots. So let's take an example that I have a data set like this. Okay, I have 100 students and their scores in the exam. Right now, if I want to display this using a box plot, I can do that. First and foremost, the box plot would look like this. Okay, the x-axis is the only thing you see. That will be the whatever the measurement that you're looking at here. It's scores, right? Let's say the minimum score is 0 and the maximum is 100 in an exam. And actually, the least score achieved was 5 and the maximum is 95. Let's assume that, right? So the box plot would generally look like something like this. Okay. So I have a box, right? So this box plot is like quartile, split. So not necessarily you'll only see something like this. You might see quintile where I see slightly better, slightly different, not better. So what am I doing here? Let me use a different color. So why did I say it's a quintile thing? Because we're splitting into 4. So this is one zone for me, that is this to this part. This is the second zone, that is this to this part. And this is my third zone from this to this part. And this is my fourth zone. As I said, right, quartile is basically splitting into 4 equal groups. What do I mean by that? The top 25 students, right? If I arrange from the least to top scores, I know the top score is 95 and the least score is 5. Let's say 6, 7, 80, 82, 93, 93, something like this. This is what the data is looking like. So 76th guy, right? 75, then 51, 50, 49. Let me take 25, 24, something like this, right? So the bottommost 25 will be in this group. The next 25 will be the 26 to 50 guys will be in this group, this box 2, and up to 75, right? 51 to 75 will be in the third zone, and 76 to 100 will be in this zone. That's what the data is representing, right? So let's assume that 75th guy. So how would I get this? Okay, these are okay. I would have some values for this. I know that this is 5, right? That's the least score, and what is the highest score is 95. So what is the 75 percentile score? That is this part. That is, if I score, let's say 81, if I score 81, my percentile would be 75 because I got more than 75, right? If I get maybe something around, let's say 47, just take an example. If I get 47, that is this score, I get 50 percentile because I'm better than the 50 students, right? The top least 25 are here, the next 25 are here, the better 25 and the best 25 are here. That's 4 groups because I'm talking about quartiles here, right? So let's assume this is like maybe 20. Let's say that these are the scores, okay? So understand this carefully. Actually, if you see this, right, what is the score of 75th guy? 80, and 76th guy is 82. So I am saying the percentile, 75 percentile is 81. So which student got 81? None of them got 81. Okay, let's assume. I'm trying to explain the point. Understand this carefully. So when I'm splitting into 4 groups, sometimes that split would be like a score of the guy itself. Sometimes it might not be that there's no one, like 80 and 82. This is the 75th rank and this is the 76th rank. I'm talking about the minimum to the maximum rank. 100th is the first rank sort of, right? Let's assume. So what is this split is happening at average of 80 and 82, it's 81. So that's why I'll see 81. That's how it is calculated, but you don't have to worry about this, okay? Don't get into too much of details or technicalities. So that's basically this 81, 47 and 20. So when I say if a student gets 81, what does this mean? He scored more than 75% of the students. This is 75 percentile. Here I know the 100 students are automatically 75 students as well, but what is the maximum score? 95. What is the minimum score? 5. How many students scored more than 81? That is this point. I know that this is my thing. So how many students would have scored more than 81? 25%, right? This is the top 25%. The group which gets more than 81. How many students got less than 81? That is less than 81 is 75%. How many students got 81? That we don't know. See, just because of this graph is showing here in this case I gave you data saying no one got 81. Sometimes it might happen that this guy would have got 81. Right, then obviously this would be 81.5 anyways. That percentile would be 81.5 mark. But anyways, so don't try to like it can also happen that I get 75th guy got 81 and this guy also got 81, right? What do I do then? I still do the same. The 75 percentile is still 81. Okay, that's how it is calculated. I can also have situation like this where 80 and 82. In both these cases, 75th and 76th guy got 81, 81 in one case, 80, 82. The 75 percentile is still marked as 81 only. So if I ask you how many students got 81, in this case it is 0. In this case it is 2. So what would I answer? So don't worry about this technicality. Just on the graph it is not possible for me to answer that part. So they won't ask questions like that. But rather the questions would be like this. How many students got more than 81? Right? It is 25%. How many students got less than 81? It is 75%. Something like that. That's what you can answer. Right? You can answer this part. How many students got less than 81? Because 81 is the 75 percentile. I can say how many students got less than. I cannot say this explicitly. It might vary a bit, but this is also a good assumption to take. But let's solve some questions to understand that. Don't worry. Before we get to that, things that you need to know in box plot is like how to read this, right? The questions would generally be asked to read a box plot and answer, rather than you don't have to construct anything from the data. First and foremost things you should know is because I'm talking about quartiles, we have 3 quartiles called quartile 1, quartile 2 and quartile 3. These are the values, okay, the measurement values. Because we're talking about scores here, they are basically the scores. Quartile 1 is this. So what is this matching is 20, right? So this is 20. Quartile 2 is 47. Quartile 3 is 81. This is what you need to answer. If I ask you what is quartile 1, answer is 20. Right? Quartile 2 is 47. How did I get 20? See this figure? This is the differentiating for the first zone and the second zone, right? This is the line which is cutting the zones into 2 zones, 1 and 2. So see what is the value? 20. So that's why the answer is 20. Similarly, this is cutting the zone 3 and 4. So 81 is the value. So quartile 3 is 81. Quartile 2 is 47. Then you might get a question like what is interquartile range? This is nothing but you have to just do Q3 minus Q1. How max minus min was I was talking, but here you should rather do Q3 minus Q1, that is 81 minus 20, 61 is the answer. You might simply get what is the range of the given data as well. Range is max minus min. I know max is 95 in this case and min is 5, right? I read the extreme points and that gives me range is 90. Interquartile range is different, quartile 1, quartile 2 and quartile 3. Sometimes you might get a figure, right? Something like this. What is this? This is quintiles, basically splitting into 5 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Right? In that case, you would rather have quintile 1, quintile 2, quintile 3 and quintile 4. Right? I might ask what is quintile 4, you have to find this. And now if I ask you what is interquintile range, you have to do Q4 minus Q1. It's all the same thing, right? The logical extension of it. Another thing you need to understand is the percentile figures of that. That is, this is 75 percentile, this is 50 and this is 25. Right, in the box plot, that's how you can read. If I say someone scored, okay, let's say 90 and he got 86 percentile. If I ask you how many students have scored between 81 and 96, right? If I'm asking you, I know 81 is 75 percentile and 86 percentile is this 90. So I know 75 minus 86 is 11% of people have scored between 81 and 90, right? Are you understanding this? See this carefully. Why am I saying this? I know that 81 score is 75 percentile, right? What does that mean? Let's take this example. Out of 100 students, 75 students have scored less than 81. And what about this? This figure says 90 score is 86 percentile. That means 86 students have scored less than 90. So how many students have scored between this? It should be this people, right? 75 people are less than 81. 86 people are less than 90. So the 11 people who are between 75 and 86, that is the 76th guy, 77, 78 and so on up to 86. Those 11 people would have scored more than 81 and less than 90. Right? That's why it is 11 people. So that's 11%. So that's another type of question that you get to see. Okay, these are the 3 things that you should be able to solve. This quartile range and then doing the percentiles part. Right, so this is what we've discussed in depth here already. So let's solve a problem directly to get an understanding of this. So 400 student scores are plotted as shown in figure below. What we recommend is, we have discussed everything already. We strongly ask you to pass and try it on your own. It's a very easy question if you understood what you've explained. Hope you have tried, you got the answers. So this is a quartile thing. So I'm asking you to find the quartiles. So Q1, Q2 and Q3. What is Q1? This 30. What is Q2? Is this 50. And what about Q3? Is this is 80, right? These are the quartiles. What is interquartile range? Call it IQR. It's Q3 minus Q1, that is 80 minus 30 is 50. And what about the range of the data? The range is this, right? This is the maximum value and this is the minimum value. Out of the 400 student scores, I know 100 is the highest and 20 is the least. So the range is, maximum is 100 and the minimum is 20. So the range is 80. Now, these are the basic things I was talking about. The next extension is this. If a student scored 38, so where would 38 be? Here, right? 40 is here, so 38 is here. Got 35 percentile. So the percentile wise, this score is 35 percentile. What is this percentile? I know this is 25 percentile. What about this? This is 50 percentile. What about this? This is 75 percentile. The question is asking how many students did score between 38 and 80. So I know 38 means, 38 score basically means more than 38% of students, right? Out of 400 students, 38% of students scored less than 38. What about 80? If 80 score is what I got, I know that I scored better than 75% of the students. So how many students would have achieved between this? This is the difference, right? What is 38? 75 minus 38 is 37%. So I know that 37% of the students in the group of 400 have scored between 38 to 80. As simple as it is. So the answer is how many students, right? So that is, I know 37% of 400 is the answer. So that is 37 by 100 into 400. 148 students, right? That's how you will answer it. Simple question. All you need to do is get these percentiles well, 25, 50 and 75. That's clear. Then they'll give you one clue which will give you some actual score and percentile. Now I know 35 percentile is for this score. Then they'll ask you how many students did score between 38 to 80. 38 is here and they'll ask, say they won't ask 38 and 70. 70 is not any fixed percentile. So they would not ask question like that. Ideally they would ask questions with reference to 25, 50 and 75. Right? And then they'll give you another reference point to refer and draw. That's how you'll solve this.